from Sheridan, Wyoming, and from Rwanda. Christy, where exactly are you in Rwanda?
I am in Muhanga, which is about an hour outside of the capital of Kigali. There's a road that goes straight through the country from Uganda to the north to Burundi in the south, and we're on that road.
Okay, perfect. So we're coming to you live from Rwanda in Sheridan, Wyoming, and this is our friend and partner, Christy, and she works with Azizi Life. So Azizi Life, Bob Beautifully and Azizi Life have partnered for 5 years. We were just rereading emails and realized that it's 5 years right now in May. So they were one of our first partners, and it's been just such an honor to get to work with them. Christy's going to tell you more about the work they do, but they are amazing, you guys. They have their hands in so many things, from basket weaving to wood carving to beekeeping, and their programming is just beautiful. So she's going to tell you a little bit about them, but then we're going to dive in because I know most of you are here because you want to know what is life like right now in Rwanda. So we'll talk about that, and then Christy will come back again at the end, and we'll talk even more in depth about her programming. But the exciting thing is she is in her office right now, and so we get to meet and see a couple of the artisans that are there working away on products that either we have or will be featuring in our store. So she's going to just do a quick little show around, show us some of the artisans, and then tell us about Azizi Life, Christy.
Yay! Hi, guys. It's so great to be here, and in beautiful Rwanda, and you guys should all come. It should be on your bucket list. It's so beautiful here. Definitely not a sacrifice to to be living here in Rwanda. And like Emily said, I'm here in the Azizi Life office. You can see some of the products behind me, and I'll show you some of them. But before my colleagues leave for the day, I want to introduce you to them. Azizi Life works with over 500 different artisans in like almost 50, more than 40 groups. And
I think we're still out. You still there, Christy?
Oh, she must be moving around. Christy, we lost you for a second.
So this is Francesca.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, what did you see?
We missed
good.
it.
So
You had stalled out. Hello.
Can you see me now?
Now we can see you. Yep. Yeah.
No, so this is hi.
Oh, you disappeared on us.
Yeah, I can see you. Can you hear me?
We can still hear you. Yep.
We don't see you on our screen. Everyone else still can. I can't tell.
Okay. Well, while you guys work on camera stuff, I will say that, Azizi Life has the amazing privilege of working not only with artisans, but other members of the community here in Rwanda. And this is a picture of me with one of the groups of ladies. One of the products that you guys carry for Bought Beautifully is the napkin rings. And these ladies specifically make the napkin rings with the little zigzags inside. And a lot of, so the name of their group is Kundagaseche. So that is one of over 40 artisan groups with which we work here at Azizi Life. And what we saw is that just all over Rwanda, there are cooperatives of women, but also some men, primarily women, but also some men. And they are making beautiful things, but what their neighbors are able not. So we have been privileged to partner with them so that we can offer a fair wage, a livable wage, or more than they can make in the local market, and work together on design and just do some coaching so that they can provide for their families. Yeah, and so we started with one social enterprise, which is working with the artisans, but then we developed a second one, which is cultural experience days, and then we started a local nonprofit so that we could do work outside of enterprise, and then we started a third social enterprise, which is incubated candles, which you guys have.
I love the candles, but we are cutting out here. I'm wondering if we should.
Let's do a quick reboot. We tried it earlier this morning and everything was working well. So let's see if we can get you back on video.
So let's start over. Is that okay, Christy? Because I can't tell what people are seeing unless you want to open this and see what it looks like. Because we can't see you and it's kind of cutting out, and I want this to go well.
Reboot.
Yeah.
I think we'll hold on real quick. Colin's going to check on our end to see what it looks like.
Let's see.
So click right there.
Yeah.
So we can't see you.
Her. I wonder if there's like a video option.
Here, see if you can hear. Thank you, guys. I can tell people are watching. We appreciate you so much. We actually did tech trial this. We were chatting early this morning, and it was perfect. And so I don't know what to do, but perhaps it's because we're in Rwanda. Oh, she's ready to do it. Right back here. Okay.
I clicked a button.
Click the button.
But maybe it'll start me in infrared. That would be exciting.
Okay.
Oh, don't be scared if it
Here we go.
There we go.
Oh, you're back. Yay! 3, 2, 1. Yay! She's back. Okay.
What?
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
You guys, thank you so much. Everyone who's watching for
Good.
their work time.
All right, continue on.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Okay, so this is Eugenie, and Eugenie is Eugenie was a member of one of the groups with which Azizi Life started. So she is primarily an artisan in banana weave, kind of like making panels like the one that's in the bottom of these trays. But what we discovered, the more we got to know Eugenie, is that she has the gift. She is an artisan teacher, and we employed her on our team because she's just so good. Anything she can think of or you can think of, she can create. And so we're really thankful to have her on our team. And yeah, so that's
me too. Actually, my son's grabbing the baskets that we have here.
What was that?
My son's grabbing one of the baskets that we have here in our house. That she might have been the design.
Oh, cool.
That is so wonderful. So nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, those banana leaf boxes are part of what her group makes. So yeah.
Cool.
Yay. Okay. So now we're back to introductions. This is Natalie.
Hello.
She is. Can you see? Natalie. Okay. Yeah. We're so used to social distance. That's like hard for us to be close to each other.
Yeah.
So Natalie's the manager for Beautiful Creations. So the candles that you guys are carrying, Natalie oversaw the production of that. She works with the beekeepers and the candle makers, candle dippers, and the staff here who also make the poured candles. Yeah, anything you want to say about?
Well done. We love the candle addition to the product line.
Yeah. So this is one of the examples of the you guys carry that Natalie's team has created, and they smell so good. Natural bee style. Yeah. Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie.
This is Elizabeth. She is head of the dye for the crafts team. And yeah, so has worked on some of the products, even the ones that are right behind you in the video.
Hello again.
Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Here, you guys can. Finally, we have Emmanuel and Anj. Come on up, Anj. Yeah, so they are part of the packing team. They make boxes, so things that you see delivered are packed and carefully managed by them. And as I mentioned, thanks guys. As I mentioned, we also have a local nonprofit, and so you guys can head out. Why don't the rest of you all come? We're just so excited to say hi. Who's that? Bea?
Yes, I love it. Oh, let's practice. How do we say our Rwanda?
Let's see.
We love each other.
Hey.
And are excited to see you. Especially the Nancy is the head of our nonprofit organization.
Oh, right.
So you'll see some photos. From that, but yeah, we're just so thankful to have this work that we really believe that. Wait, let me get myself. Okay, here I am. We really believe that God did this work before us. That this is part of like His kingdom coming and His will being done. That people can earn a living and feed their own families and learn to read and just be able to steward the environment better and all kinds of things. So we're super, super thankful. And we prayed for every member of this team. I've had the privilege of being a part of Azizi Life since the very, very beginning. And we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't have any experience in craft or in export or in any of this. And God has just put together an awesome team. We've learned a ton along the way. Part of that is from mistakes we've made. Part of that is from opportunities that caused us to just have to take the next step in order to take that opportunity. So we've seen God provide in so many ways, but one of the most awesome parts of Azizi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
Can you imagine the torture of not being able to hug each other?
Oh my gosh.
One day.
Painful. Oh, well, Christy, it is so cool to get to see these partners, your people, and hear a little more of your story. It's been such an honor for us to come alongside you and see just the quality and the depth of the programming and care that you pour into what you do is so cool. And for you guys watching, like I said, we've partnered with Bot Beauty, or Bot Beauty's partnered for 5 years, and so you probably have some of these products in your home, and you are directly impacting these lives. And so we just figured out our impacts from last year, and Christy told us that Bot Beauty Sales provided the annual health insurance for 178 people there. So that's so exciting, guys. And when we look at these people and we feel so far away, but we bring our products into our homes, and just pausing to remember that we get to play a really important role in that story you said of God's will being done in Rwanda, of people being able to just move into places of thriving and using their gifts and talents to provide for themselves and their families. So we just have to pause and celebrate what a cool full circle connection that is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
About all the details of the work you do, because I mean, I feel like we've barely scratched the surface. But I do think because people are tuning in and everyone is just so curious right now, like obviously COVID-19 has proven that we are all so connected, but obviously it's affecting every single one of us in different communities differently. And we'd love to just pause for a few minutes and talk about what has it actually looked like for you guys on the ground, what's the realities been, and then maybe a little bit about what you see happening now. So I don't know, just take it away and we'll maybe jump in with some questions. And you guys who are watching, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in here so that we can ask those questions for you. So if you comment on the Facebook link, we can ask those questions. All right, take it away, Christy. I'm gonna find that picture of you wearing your masks and put it up. Oh no, she's gone again.
Okay. Am I gone? Okay, let me reconnect.
Okay. Yep.
Now we know what to do. Yeah, so I have been really, really impressed by the response of Rwanda to the virus, and we've really seen the fruit of that in that our numbers are super low. We've had no deaths in the country, and so I had recently returned to Rwanda. So I spend 2 or 3 months in the States each year because part of my role is sales and promotion and advocacy and public speaking. And so I came back and just at the beginning of when things were starting to spread, and even before we had the first case here in Rwanda, the government put in measures. So they had people put up hand washing, and they just started. We stopped greeting each other. So in Rwandan culture, every interaction begins and ends with a handshake. And when you enter a room, you go around and you shake hands with every single person in the room. So for us to stop having physical connection with each other is a huge cultural shift. But the government instituted that even before we had one case known in Rwanda. And as soon as that first case happened, immediately, we learned about it in the morning, and by the evening, they had announced like all the schools are closed, everything's closed. They brought the students home because a lot of kids in Rwanda are in boarding school, like what we heard about in Kenya. And they brought the kids home within a couple of days. And I've just been really, really impressed. They closed the borders quickly, and we have been like pretty safe. So I think our like stay-at-home time was 6 weeks, and then just on Monday was the first day that we were allowed to go out beyond grocery shopping or going to the pharmacy, that kind of, to the bank, those areas. Yeah, so we still were wearing masks while we're out. We're staying home when we can, but they're allowing businesses to reopen with caution, which we're really thankful for. Those 6 weeks, like all around the world, we felt that impact. And although we weren't seeing it in many cases of people being sick, we were feeling the economic impact a lot. Because just like in the Kibera slums, like we heard about last week, so many people in Rwanda, especially in the towns, they do day labor work. So they knock on doors until they can find someone who needs their clothes hand washed, or, they sit outside a construction site until the foreman comes out and calls the workers that they need for the day. Or they go out on their moto and look for passengers to ride in the back. That kind of work. And the meal that they eat, that lunchtime or that dinner comes from the work of that day. And so it was those people who were particularly affected because just like that, they weren't allowed to work. And the people who live in the rural areas, almost all of them are farmers. So they do have some alternative sources of income. If they can get their things to market, if there's a lot of ifs within that. And of course, it's not the season for all kinds of foods. So they also felt that impact. And in Rwanda, that was compounded by the fact that we've had super heavy rains. And so the rains had already been impacting people economically. Crops that they had relied on. The artisans actually were just telling me today, the artisans who were in the picture with the masks on, I asked them how they were doing, and they were like, these rains. I said, how are your fields and your crops? And they were like, the rain just washed it all away. Like, you wouldn't even know that I had planted in there. And so that's really hard. So for our artisan partners, we couldn't place orders with them, or they couldn't bring, what we had ordered. So we tried to honor with some advance payment and just think about how we could work with them. And a lot of them had more buffer than a lot of their colleagues have, or a lot of their neighbors have, rather, because they have been able to save, and they have been able to invest in things like farm animals, which, did you realize a farm animal is an appreciating asset? You buy it for a low price when it's small, then it grows, and you sell it for a high price. And so actually, livestock is a way that people in the rural areas save and grow their money. And so the artisans had been investing in things like that, and they had been saving together. And so they had more resilience, I think, than their neighbors. But we came to a point where we realized that, like, okay, even our strong and capable partners, like, they are at the point where they will stop being able to feed their families because this is going on for a long time. And so we decided to fundraise so that each of them could have access to a fund of money that would be enough for food for a couple of weeks. So they were so thankful. So if anyone out there has contributed to that fund or a fund like that, the artisans just so see that as an answer to their prayers and an expression of love, and are really, really grateful. So yeah.
Can you tell us, because it was so good for me, it was $19 would feed a family for, was it 2 weeks or a week? I don't remember the exact details.
Yeah, $18, enough kind of staples.
Right.
So figuring that hopefully they could supplement with some vegetables and milk from their little farms. But yeah, enough staples for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
And so now, well, two things. I know Colin had read a newspaper article that when it was first starting, and it was people in Rwanda, right, talking about, their prayer and their confusion was like, we would rather, like, kind of take on the virus than starve to death. That was a very real fear and reality for so many people.
Yeah, sort of the danger of a one-size-fits-all, worldwide response when different communities look very differently in terms of just community makeup, ages, economic resilience, savings. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. I think one really interesting dynamic is that some of the people who we've kind of come to understand were hardest hit economically were people in the capital, who don't have any fields and are renting their little houses, and so don't have the fallbacks that some people in the rural areas do. And Yeah, so the government has tried to take some measures to help. They've taken up community collections for food or for contributions. They've distributed through the local government, which is great. And actually, the all of like the top ministry officials, the top government officials, they forewent their April salaries so that that money could go towards COVID-19 relief. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. And that's like so unheard of. I mean, I feel like worldwide that hasn't been heard of, and that should be in the news.
Yeah.
Those stories talked about. That's really impressive. Way to go, Rwanda.
Yeah. Rwanda is on the cutting edge of a lot of things.
That is so exciting. Yeah. Okay, and so now you guys are starting to open up. What is the next kind of, do you have stages? What does the next few weeks look like? What, obviously there was rains that were really detrimental to people. Tell us more about what's next. And then also going back to that donation piece, if people still wanted to contribute, I mean, $18 is really doable. Is that still happening? Can we help in a way, or should we stay tuned? There are going to be different opportunities. Tell us a little bit more.
Okay. In terms of giving, thank you. I guess we're not sure what to expect. Okay. We hope that we will be able to re-engage with the artisans in such a way that they will then have income. But we're not 100% sure. So donations are always gratefully accepted. I think donations made at this point, because we hit more than 100% of our target, which was so awesome in the matter of like a week. And this is 547 artisans we were raising funds for. Yeah, and because we raised extra, then we were able to also make a contribution to people who were kind of a little bit more peripheral within the Azizi Life community, which we are so thankful to be able to do. So any gifts given at this point, we would save, I think, and see whether they need to be reserved for further emergency relief. And if not, then we would turn them to some other of our nonprofit work. Yeah, but I think that like many other things during this time would be in the wait and see how it goes kind of category. But in terms of steps forward, there have been some great things happening in the midst of like the craziness. And one of those great things is that people in the US are buying fair trade handcrafted things. And so, yeah, so thank you, Bought Beautifully community. Like it makes a difference. And so Azizi Life actually had an awesome April in terms of sales, to the extent that even before the quarantine was lifted, we were able to start placing some new orders with the artisans because they work from home. They work with natural materials, many of which they get from their communities. And so as soon as we opened on Monday, there were artisans who were starting to deliver things that we had ordered during the quarantine. So that was really great. Yeah. Oh, here's one.
Darn, wait. So Christy, I can't tell if you can hear us. You're a little bit frozen now. We might give it a second to catch up.
Now I have to walk around.
Oh, there you are.
There you are. Oh, yay, the new baskets. So it's a little bit frozen, but these are a new line of baskets. I'm going to talk till I hear Christy come back in just so. Oh, there she is. Okay.
So we have cooperation. Tassels were delivered on Monday. So we're so. Wait, can you still hear me even though you can't see my video?
can hear you, but I don't think they can see you. So if you can hit that button to join again.
Okay. Yep, I will.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So
there you go. You're back on.
Good. Good. So we are placing orders with the artisans. Our team is able to do our fiber dyeing. So we have some specialty colors and we have a specialty fiber dyeing process. And so the team is back at it, dyeing the specialty colors so that we can order those products to be woven. And yeah, we're not allowed to travel outside of our provinces right now. So we can't go to the capital. And so a lot of the artisans are within this province, but some are not. So we'll be thinking about, okay, how can we connect with those who aren't in our province? And right now, actually, we can't ship because of the logistical challenges and just different COVID-related challenges. But we really foresee that by the time the artisans have brought the products, and we have this long process of quality checking and putting on special tags with the artisans' names, and then we have all the products are fumigated, and there's a long process. So we anticipate that by the time that process is finished, the doors will be reopened in terms of logistics, and we'll be able to get a new shipment out to the U.S.
Perfect. Yes. So beautiful guys, stay tuned because they have some new products. And if you want to hold that basket up again, Christy, because I think it was blurry when you were holding it. We have some new things that are coming in July too. So I'm gonna place them up for pre-order. So you guys can pre-order some of the new things. There's new baskets, new measuring spoons, lots of new things, and you guys can pre-order them. So this is one example of some of the new baskets that are coming. We are really excited because we had been wanting to see some baskets like this happen, and here they are. So that.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for the tour. Thanks for all the introductions.
Yes.
Thank you for the work that you do, and we're thankful that you guys have been one of our longest time partners. And our customers love the variety and the quality of all the products that your artisans make.
So before we go so much dive in, I have a picture here of you guys doing your literacy class, which I may not put up because every time I'm putting the pictures up, it seems to be kicking you off. But in terms of you have the nonprofit, tell us more now. Let's dive into a little bit more about Azizi Life. You guys have your enterprise work, you have your nonprofit, and then within that, I know you do literacy classes, you guys do Bible studies, you do the experiences, which we're hoping to be a part of someday soon. Can you just give us a little bit more on people who maybe just tell us a little bit more about all the details, the layers of your work?
Sure. Yeah. So our second social enterprise is Azizi Life Experiences. And we were a few years into our work with the artisans when we had some guests visit, and they wanted to see what we did. So we asked the artisans, a group of artisans with whom we had built a relationship, to host them, but to not treat them as honored guests, but to treat them like kids in the family. And the day that the artisans created was so great that we were like, everyone needs to be able to do this. Like, I had been in Rwanda for probably 3 years, and it was a day unlike any I had ever had in Rwanda. And so now I think 7 groups host guests for cultural experience days. The guests do a morning of family chores and then share a home-cooked lunch and conversation with the artisans. And then in the afternoon, they learn something. So the artisans might teach guests how to weave, or how to make banana juice, or how to pick coffee beans and like process traditionally coffee beans, to do mud brick construction, all kinds of things. So this is awesome. And we think of it as a way to serve our community and people around the world who come to visit, an educational opportunity, an opportunity for connection, but it's also income from the artisans. No one was ever going to pay them to go fetch water in the valley, but now the guests are just so pleased to spend the day with the artisan.
That's so cool. Oh, I think we're a little frozen.
Our second social enterprise, so I'm just checking.
Very cool. How many, just out of curiosity, how many guests have you guys had there be a part of that so far?
Oh man, that is a great question. I don't know. We've been doing the experience days for definitely more than 5 years. And lots and lots, hundreds and hundreds of guests have come through. So some are just visiting Rwanda, some are family members visiting people who live in the capital, some are school groups, university groups, college groups from overseas, but also some of the international schools have field trips with us. So just lots and lots of different kinds of people. And even, like Rwandan kids living in the capital, we heard of one kid who didn't believe that anyone didn't live like he did, with a flushing toilet and tile floors. And so it's super eye-opening for him to see oh, my fellow Rwandans live like this in such simple circumstances. So we really love the experience days. Yeah. And then the local NGO offers a different way for people to access resources, but with that same vision that they are impacting their own community for good, or they have additional resources to develop themselves. So we started with fuel efficient stoves and solar lamps. And we added no-cook water filters, so things that benefit the household and the economics and the environment and health. But right now, probably what we're most excited about is our adult literacy program. Because we realize that not all of our artisan partners knew how to read. And so for some of them, when we went to pay them and we, wrote out the receipt and we handed it over for them to fill out their name and sign, they would kind of slide the paper back to us and say, oh, why don't you do it? And, and when we were in Bible study and we handed out the songbooks, some people just kind of shyly passed it on to their neighbors. And so it's been such a privilege for us to offer literacy classes for them and to see the difference, to see, Janine, the banana leaf card maker, take her paper, take her receipt and say, I am going to fill it out myself, and slowly and steadily writing her own name. So good. And the impact goes so far. People are able to help their kids with their homework, to see the value of their children's education and to support them in that. They're able to sign up for leadership positions within their communities and join their choirs, because now they can learn the lyrics by reading. And they're less likely to have the wool pulled over their eyes, or to inadvertently, not follow a rule that's been posted on a poster somewhere. So that just lots and lots of layers of benefit to literacy, as educators everywhere know, but it's such a thrill to see that in action. And so we've expanded it to other people in the community. And the last thing that I want to say about that is that last year, I think, so there's a prison that I can see from where I'm standing right here. It's across the way from us. And they approached us and said, we are teaching literacy, and it's being taught by prisoners. 2 prisoners, but we don't have resources, and we would like further support with our literacy program. And when Venancy, who you met in the polka dotted shirt, and her team started dialoguing with them, they found that the prisoners, they didn't have pens and paper. So they were like scratching letters in the dirt, or like, you know how when your skin gets dry, they were like scratching letters in their dry skin, and that's how they were learning to read and write. And so we know that God loves prisoners. And it has been an honor to offer notebooks and pens and like ways for the educators to have resources to educate, and also to give training on strategies for teaching adults, and yeah, just more effectively. And then so the prison let us have a graduation ceremony. So they gathered all the prisoners. The prison has a dance troupe, which is great, and a band. So the prison dance troupe came and played I Got You, You Got Me, We Got Love. Anyone? And so and then they let us have a feast in celebration. Yeah, and it was thrilling. I got to be there, and just so good. And we host a graduation for the students who also study within their community groups, and just the jubilation in that event is like, oh, I can feel it again. So we are another thing that we'll be able. Yeah. So when we reopen, then we'll be able to have our graduation ceremony from the last group of graduates, and also we'll be able to resume literacy training with the new group of students that is studying now. So yeah.
So how many students are in a group?
Oh, I think that in each community group there are about 25 or 30 students. The number of prisoners, okay, now you've probably already gathered that I'm not the numbers person on the team with my like frogs, but yeah, the number of prisoners was around like 250 or 300. And so, yeah, so last year, I think our total number of graduates was like, I don't know, at least 800. I can look that up for you. But
that's oh my goodness, well done.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of times we as Americans, we are very much such number people, or we're trained to be number people. And so, you know, everyone wants to know, well, what's the impact? What is it specifically? What does it look like? And we're always trying to figure that out. But as you're sharing, it's so evident that one of the best things we can do is to invest in partners like you that are on the ground, looking at the needs, being able to flex and pivot to where those opportunities are. And who cares exactly what the numbers are when the work is happening? And just knowing that it's happening should be enough for all of us to want to continue to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, if it was one person, it will be.
Yeah.
We're celebrating.
Yeah. And I could go on and on with stories of how God has provided for us, and how, you know, things that felt like, oh my gosh, what's happening? This is going wrong. And then we see like, oh, God was in that. He was moving things forward. He was like working out provision. He was taking us to a place that we would not have stepped on our own. We've just seen that over and over again in our history. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's so cool. So very exciting. Well, I'll give you to everyone watching. If anyone has a question before we go, please go ahead and type something in if you have anything you want to ask Christy. And then do you have any questions before we go?
No. thank you very much for your time. Thanks for introducing us to the artisans.
Oh my gosh, that was so special.
And yeah, we're excited to see what the rest of the summer looks like for us, and obviously into the Christmas season. We hope we can partner and have our strongest year yet, and just continue to build on what we've been doing together.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you guys and just your example, and we feel so loved and supported by you. It's really touching how you pray for us, and we've appreciated also how you've just elevated the products and their work, and really helped to bring more voice to the artisans and more impact, and just partner with them. They have the vision and the desire to raise their families up and make a better future for their children. And your partnership is part of what enables them to continue to step forward towards that vision. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, like Emily said, it's a place that we would love to come, and it's on the list. And we were just talking the other day about a couple ideas for some products that we had that we were hoping we might brainstorm a little bit with you guys and see if it seems like it's up their alley in terms of what they're already doing, and we're thinking that there might be some opportunities there.
Awesome. So Christy, I don't think you can see what your friend Roxy is saying. Hi, Christy. I'm not sure if you can see the comment. I wanted you to know she was saying that. Awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Everyone for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with us as we figured out technology. Thanks for letting families pop heads in. We're all in this together, aren't we? It's different in every community, but we're all together figuring this out. And honestly, we're thankful for the reminder of how connected we really are. Sometimes it takes a pandemic to remind us, and sometimes it takes just different things, but it's a good reminder of we are each other's brothers and sisters. And it's just a privilege to get to do this stuff together. So many blessings to you guys at Azizi Life. We'll, I'm sure, be circling back and looking forward to products coming in, and wishing you guys just the best next couple of weeks as you re-enter society and things loosen up. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Christy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
50 minutes. 50 minutes.